I think, to me, you have to be a mentee, whether that's Jesus Christ, or whether that's David, or Jonathan, or Paul, or Barnabas. You know, you have to be a mentee before you can be a mentor. Because you have to have godly wisdom that you want to give somebody. And you can't get that if you're just sitting back watching TV and retired. You know, we have to still work at it.
Welcome to the Valor Cast, where fight meets faith and fruit. This is a space for men who want more than just a weekend faith. We're here to sharpen each other, to grow stronger in God's Word, lead with integrity, and build real brotherhood. Each episode, you'll hear honest conversations with men from all walks of life. We'll talk faith, family, work, failure, legacy, whatever it takes to become the kind of men God has called us to be. Because this world needs more than passive belief, it needs men of valor. This is the podcast for building bold disciples one story at a time. This is the Valor Cast.
Welcome back. Week 3 of the Valor Cast, where we're talking about Got Your Back. And this session this week is chapter 3 on Jonathan and David. And if we're talking about a wingman of all wingman, these guys were two friends that were bonded in a covenant or commitment in a relationship, unlike any other masculine Biblehood friendship in the Bible. This chapter focuses on a covenant of brotherhood. It focuses on loyalty in the face of risk. It focuses on emotional transparencies, strength in times of trouble, and also a brotherhood that lasts a lifetime. And they were exemplary examples of somebody's true got your back. And today we've got a great subject that we're going to be talking about. It's retired but not expired. And I've got I got Pastor Roberto here with me again, Skip Wilson and Paul Lancaster. Thanks for joining us. What do you think about this topic, Pastor Roberto?
Not only the topic, I mean, the guest that we have here today is like, we're talking about, these guys are
legends,
national treasures.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even feel worthy to be here with these guys.
Oh, so. Come on. It's an honor to have you guys here. Paul Lancaster and Skip Wilson. It's great to have you guys here with us. And we know you. Maybe some people watching know you, but there might be some people who don't know you. So why don't you tell us a little bit of who you are and tell us something interesting about you guys. Come on.
I'm Paul Lancaster. Been a member of the church since the late or middle 70s. So I'm a relic around here.
You're a legend.
No, not a legend, a relic. There's a difference.
Okay.
But I love my church. I love this. I love the people we have. And it seems like I lost a lot of time younger in life. I'd be here on Sundays and then gone, because of school activities and kids and running kids here and there. But I'm enjoying my retired life.
I'm Skip Wilson, and we've been in the church 58 years. We came to church to join because it was the largest church in town, and I thought I could hide. And I was pretty successful at that for a while. I'll talk about that later. But I spent 39 years with TCO and been retired 25 years. That's hard to believe that I'm not that old, Paul. Kids all went to church here, confirmation. Grandkids all went to church here through confirmation. So this is my home. And it'll be that way forever.
Amen.
That's great.
Amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. Talking about David and Jonathan, I think we got here.
We couldn't pick two better guys, right?
Come on. And, you guys having been in New Hope for so long and having so much experience and in life in general, and I would say in ministry as well, it's just an abundant amount of really blessings that we have here that we can share today. We will just try to compress them a little bit. and share as much as we can. Jonathan and David, what do you guys think of this the relationship that was established between these two guys in the Bible? It's very interesting.
Well, the amazing thing is that how much conflict they had, and yet through prayer and working and patience, Jonathan was able to bide his time and let Timothy go through what he had to go through to learn to be a servant of Timothy. And he did that, and Paul allowed that to happen. And in return, he got a reward because Timothy measured up for sure.
Yeah, you see that in Jonathan and David and Paul and Timothy. You see that also in Ruth and Naomi. You see that relationship, those mentorship relationships in the Bible that are really, really interesting. Now, to me, one of the interesting thing in the relationship between Jonathan and David particularly is that they not necessarily were in the same, I would say, politically speaking, they were not necessarily in the same political aisle. They were Jonathan was the son of the king, and David was considered the enemy or the competitor for the throne of Jonathan's fathers. That was not a problem. That did not really stop them from having this kind of a iron sharpens iron relationship.
I like the fact that their friendship superseded everything else.
Wow.
And they loved each other enough to keep that friendship for their life.
Wow. It's like, to me, it's like, I don't know, you guys, what do you guys think? It's like there are so many things that jump in front of our eyes. If we could just look above all that and see the person behind all those things that jump right in front of our eyes, see the person behind all that. I think that's what when we got it right. I think that's what they did. I think that's what Jesus did.
Yeah, yes. I agree. Yeah. I agree 100%. One of the things that I took from their relationship was we have a lot of men in our life or people in our life they're above the surface level relationships, but they were able to get intimate and emotional and really develop a connection of commitment, a covenant with one another. And a lot of people just think a covenant's between your wife, but they had a level of friendship that was very, very deep. And that led to their loyalty, being vulnerable, and then ultimately sacrificing for one another.
Yeah.
And that's what I took from reading about their relationship was.
Yeah, and the soul's connection is not just I would say just a friendship like we normally say. How do we call it? I think it was a soul connection what they had. Their souls were connected for eternity. And that's really beyond comprehension. That's not something we could explain. But that's the way they established and they grounded their relationships. And to me, that is really challenging because, you don't really think about that in marriage. But how about when you come to a relationship with that older man that really sharpens you, that makes you a better person? Number one, I think we need to look beyond. There are a lot of things that are going to stand in the middle, and we need to look beyond all that, as we said. Number one. And number two, we need to go, instead of going surface level, you were saying, we need to go deep into our souls. And I think Wesley really nailed it in the question that he asked. He asked those men that he surrounded with him in discipleship and in bands, how is it with your soul? So the soul connection, to me, is a huge part of what this talks about. And you guys are retired, but definitely, if anybody watching this don't know them, I'm going to tell you, they're definitely not expired because they are busy in different ministries in the church and doing a lot of great things for the church and for different having like mentorship relationships and all that. Tell us about how does it feel to be retired but not expired?
It's busy at times, but you know what? I love it. I learned a lot through mentoring people at work, through construction, I was able to teach people how to lay pipe, how to build roads, how to do those things. But God told me something a long time ago that I've mentioned before, and it's impacted my life, because I wanted to go back and be a teacher and a coach at school. But rather than doing that, I'm just screaming for God, God, you put me in this position. I don't want to be in this position. I want to teach and coach. Mm-hmm. And it went on and on for a number of days. And when I finally heard an answer from God, you want to know what it was? Teach and coach.
Wow.
And I said, ready for this? No, God, you don't understand. Right? And so I kept praying for that. And the next thing I heard was teach and coach, weeks later. But when I heard that one, he also gave me this thought, wait a minute, I can teach and I can coach people, not only in being workers, but I can teach them how to be a Christian man. And that's when I started taking on a mentorship of people. And it changed my life.
I guess one of the things that retirement has allowed me to do, first thing is, when I was facing retirement, asked the Lord, what would he have me do? What can I do? And, you don't want to do that unless you're ready for the answer. And he gave me 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. Lord spoke to me. I'm not kidding. He gave me 3 jobs to do. And that's another story. But what retirement has done for me is it's given me time to slow down and listen to people. And I see things and I hear things that used to go over my head, I know. And now God wants me to take action on those places that he's put me in. And I could give you examples of how that happens here in this church, that things that I would have missed had I been working and I was just too busy, had too many things on my mind. Now I can hear in a conversation someone whose wife has dementia, and he makes the comment in the group of 20 other men that he's worn out, that the only break he got was to take his boat out in the pond behind his house. Mm-hmm. And God immediately said, you can do something about that. Nobody else heard it. I think it would have gone right over my head. But a few dollars later, we were able to fix that. Mm-hmm. And again, God has changed my heart. The other day, I saw a lady, I left church for some reason, must have been a God thing. I left church and I saw a lady putting a carrier in the trunk of her car, struggling to put a carrier. And God said, you can do something about that. And he's right. I know about carriers. I know about the ways to carry them. And I would have never, ever seen that. I wouldn't have stopped to see that. So anyway, retirement has really, I guess, opened my eyes to service. And it's a great, I thank the Lord for that opportunity. Mm-hmm. It's a great mission.
If I heard you correctly, I think in both your cases, one thing that I find in common, what you have said is that, God was calling you to do something, but then you realized that he was calling you probably not to establish new relationships, even though that comes a part of the process. But he was not necessarily calling you to establish new mentoring or helping or service relationships. He was calling to really use your existing relationships.
That's right.
And a whole new dimension.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did I get it correctly?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And I think, Scott, that's what we miss all the time. People
Absolutely.
think, God is calling me to do something new, to go and meet new people. Mm-hmm. Yes, that can be true. But I think he's calling you. No, you already know the people that you need to reach out. You already know the people that you need to mentor. You already need the people that you need to help. You just need to be in the moment. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you miss it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I felt like all that time up to the point that God told me to teach and coach, and I understood what he was saying, my life changed. All of a sudden, there was a want to get up and go to work in the morning.
Wow.
You know, and there's problems that, you know, everybody's going to have those problems, but I wanted to be there for my people, and I wanted to hear them, and I wanted to help them.
Wow.
And going through a Christian company like we were, and they still are, by the way, but they made it easy because I could talk about Jesus anywhere, anytime. And that's my mentor that I have outside this church is a Baptist pastor. Don't hold that against me, by the way. I can't help it. But he takes time to be with me. He takes time to listen to me. And he's been my mentor for many years. But now we run a Christian Bible group of businessmen here at the church. Wow. Once a month on Thursdays in the community room.
The listening part, I think, is key in mentorship, right? Because we tend, when you put the man in the question, man is a fixer. I mean, if you're a man, you're a fixer. You go, absolutely. And sometimes we tend to go to that default corner, like as soon as you bring something out of love, I will try to fix you. And sometimes we realize that, no, that's not what I need. I just need you to listen to me. Yeah. I don't need you to fix me. Yeah. So listening, I think what you said, is a key part of mentorship. Yeah,
Paul, interesting. So I'm kind of, in your experiences, there's mentors and there's mentees. How do you classify both and what your role is? You've obviously been both through the course of your Christian spiritual walk, but I'd be interested to know.
To me, you have to be a mentee, whether that's Jesus Christ or whether that's David or Jonathan or Paul or Barnabas. You know, you have to be a mentee before you can be a mentor. Because you have to have godly wisdom that you want to give somebody. And you can't get that if you're just sitting back watching TV and retired. You know, we have to still work at it. I had a young man years ago. He went to this church. He's not in the congregation anymore. He may be a pastor right now, but he wanted me to mentor him. And I started it. And one day he walked out of the sanctuary and he handed me his iPad and he said, "Put a code in this." I said, "What?" He said, "Put a code in this." Well, can't you put your own code in your iPad? He said, "No, I don't want to get in here anymore. So I want you to put a code in here."
Okay. Wow.
He was seeing pornographic sites. And he didn't want to do it anymore.
He trusted you.
So we would meet once a week, and every time I'd meet with him, that was my question to him. How is it with your soul? You know, are you having any weaknesses that you want to talk about? And it was a great relationship. And he went on from there. I've lost track with him. I just looked up his name the other day, and I'm like, gosh, I've forgotten, all about that relationship that I had with him.
Did you just imagine, Scott, how many interesting conversations Skip have had through Family Promise?
Family Promise, just speaking into the lives of other Christians in the community. I don't even know where to start with the question. I'm almost like, open it up. Skip, give us some, how have you been able to speak into the lives of Christian men, or people in the community, in the church,
and people who are in a critical moment
in their life. Yeah,
but that's what Family Promise does, right?
Oh yeah, and again, they're unemployed and unhoused, and so that's the only reason we would take them in. They have to be families also. But the main thing I have to do is to listen. And to see where they're coming from and to see what their biggest need is. Our director, our only employee, is a missionary. We hired her specifically for that role, even though she's a trained counselor. And so she's there all the time when they're, to meet their needs when they're there. And we can't proselyte, but when they go to the churches, we give them the opportunity to when they visit for a week at each church to go to any service that may be going on there. Some choose to do, some don't. But I'm guarantee you they hear about Jesus Christ and the change that he can make in their lives. And they are so grateful. Most of them have not even heard the name, frankly, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
But they're so thankful for what people do for them. We just had a graduation the other night, and 2 families graduated.
Wow.
Praise
and
God.
to hear the father talk about the love that he experienced from being in the different churches and the presents they brought. They literally furnished the house for these 2 folks. It was incredible. And they were overwhelmed with the love emanating from the churches that are involved. And it's got to make an impact. It's got to make an impact. They've never experienced anything like that.
When you talk about graduation, just in case to put it in context, what do you mean graduation? When you say they graduate,
Well,
it
they
means
graduated into housing and jobs.
That's awesome.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
They have 90 days to do that only because we want them to not waste time. We don't want them to fool around. The reason we changed churches is that we don't want them to get comfortable. We could, had we have the money, to have a rooming house, but
Right.
that is it's too easy to do that. We want them to want to get out of the program and encourage them to be hunting. And we show them how to do it. We don't do it for them, but we show them how to hunt for a job and how to find housing. And that changes their attitude when they leave. All of a sudden, they know how to cope with society.
It's called dignity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's dignifying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's huge. That's huge. Now, when it comes to that kind of really establishing, helping, mentoring relationships, I think people normally tend to think that that's what a pastor do, that that's what a small group leader do. But people don't tend to think that that's probably a ministry for every single disciple of Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
So to me, something that really changes and really switch gears in the spiritual formation is when you decide that you're not just a disciple, that you are a disciple maker. That is not just for the pastor. That is not just for the mentor. That is for the mentee, as you were saying as well.
Yes.
Really change the equation, like saying, so how can we start really planting those seeds that this is not just a one way, this is not just a giveaway, this is not just a one-time thing that get you out of your situation, get you out of trouble, and really help you get on your feet and then go on with your life. No, this is about how can you pass this on? Because where you are, you're not just a disciple, you're a disciple maker. You're not just a mentee, you're a mentor even before you know it. So how can we shift gears in our relationships and really start like growing disciple makers, mentors?
The thing that I think makes a difference to me, and I'm speaking to the young people now primarily, but I guess one of the biggest influences in my life is when I volunteered to teach senior highs as our 3 sons, 4 years apart, reached senior high. And, I was nervous about doing it, but I would not give anything for those 10 years that I spent in the senior high Sunday school classes. And obviously, my kids were affected, influenced, but so were 100 others. And
Wow.
I would encourage our folks, our young folks, to seek ways to get involved in some sort of small activity with youth. And maybe there needs to be small work groups with adult in with the youth or whatever. I don't know the answer to that, but if we have teaching capabilities, if we have teaching positions, what a great opportunity it is to learn how to mentor.
I think we also, that's great, Skip, and you're right on it, but I think we also have to show them a friendship and a dedicatedness to them. I haven't done that very well here at our church. After I retired, that group was gone from me. I don't do that mentoring anymore. The Bible classes that I do, the Bible studies I would do there, I didn't do. Now I do it at our Connect group. Mm-hmm. I do it through that. But the younger people, I kind of miss them. Mm-hmm. And what got me is when we put this men group together, I looked around and saw men that I didn't know. I want to know those men.
There you go.
I want to honor those men with friendship, not, and let them know that, if I can help with a life experience, then I want to help. If not, at least I can be praying for them. And that's the other thing we should do for anybody who wants to do it. Pray to God. God, put the people in front of me that you want me to honor with a friendship and maybe give them a little bit of our knowledge,
I go to the Bible study that we have, and I'm just amazed that as I get to know some of the different men, the issues that they are dealing with and the gratitude they have when I express an interest in that and then follow up. If I say I'm going to pray for them, then I write her name down. That's why I carry this piece of paper in my pocket. But then I follow up. How's it going with your family? We've got one that's the family's in discord. You wouldn't believe what's going on, and yet we've been praying for that, and we see a light at the end of the tunnel, I think, for this particular family. But there are so many people, even in this small Bible study, that if you really listen and talk to them, you realize that they need help and they need somebody to listen. And sometimes it's a small thing, like just praying for them or directing them to a attorney who knows how to do elderly care. Mm-hmm. Anyway, there are tremendous opportunities, even in a group where you think they're all Christians.
Yes.
And they are. Mm-hmm. But they're struggling. Many of them are struggling with life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The follow-up, like shows that you care. That this was not just an occasional. Mm-hmm. This was not just the day that you had time for me. Is to know that they realize that you're making the time for them. I think that makes a big difference. And I think that's the walk alongside factor of mentorship. So mentorship is not just advice giving. It's walking alongside people in what they're experiencing, what they're going through in life. Walking alongside in life in general.
So how do you guys think in today's culture, how do churches better encourage men, whether retired or men, to step into the role of being a mentee or a mentor? How do we come about that?
I'll tell you what happened to me. I was at TICO at the time, of course, and I was in charge of the trouble department. And we had just joined the church to hide. And
to hide.
Yeah.
In the back with me.
In the middle of a storm, I'm in charge of the trouble department, so I'm there every time we have a storm. And one of the dispatchers says, "Your pastor's on the phone." I said, "I don't even know my pastor. Who's my pastor?" And it was Ray Harrison. And Ray talked like he knew me and offered me a job. He wanted me to be chairman of the altar guild. Now, that's woman's work. I should have said no, but I said yes. And that's what got me started. That got me started, and I just began, to take different roles in the church. And but I started as altar guild. And so you got to get them involved. You got to give them a job to do.
Yeah.
Or ask them to do a job.
So if the first person that you'll usually see when you come to Sunday is no longer hiding, but skips out there to shake your hand. So what a turn.
Came out of the cave.
The way that happened anymore. The way that happened is that years ago, somebody came to me and said, "I went to your church the other day and nobody spoke to me." Yeah. And God said, "You can do something about that."
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Done something about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just lost count of how many people in the years I've been here have told me, that this guy standing in the door, greeting them on Sunday morning, was the triggering reason, the main reason why they stay here in the church.
Amen.
It was a privilege.
Wow. That is a great ministry right there. That's what I mean when we say retire but not expire,
it's
right?
amazing. I want to ask you guys though, and you've touched on a lot of kind of, aspects of your mentoring through your life and spiritual walk. What about one particular example that really made an impact? Do you have anyone that you feel comfortable sharing with the group?
There's a number of them. I've written up 20 of them down, the experiences that I had. The one that really, no, but it's easy.
Yeah.
Because my position, when I left being the president of Dallas One, I went into a chief ministries officer.
Wow, okay.
And so my job, which I failed for a whole year, by the way, because I didn't allow one person into that, and that was God. I decided, I know these guys, right? I know they're going to come to me with their problems. For a year, nothing. And then I realized I never let God go with me. So when I started praying for that, things changed.
Yeah.
People came. In fact, I got a person who lives up in Land O'Lakes that we go out. We try to go out with once a month to go out and eat dinner with him, just so we can stay in contact. He's not at Dallas One anymore, but we're friends. And we kind of got them through a time that they didn't know how to use money as a tool. And so we were able to show them what we have done that works. And now they're members of a good church up there, and they're successful business people here, So it's again showing that you care about somebody.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed being in our men's group, as short as it is, because I get to talk to people that I didn't talk to before. I talked to you, and I talked to Pastor Roberto, but those other people that I've made friendships with, and that's really important to me now.
Is there a building in this church that doesn't have your fingerprints, Paul?
No.
How many AC units do we have?
I tell everybody.
Oh, you can't ask him anything.
I tell them this. I'm the poop guy. If there's any water line or anything you want when it comes to the buildings, I know where the lift station is. I know where the line goes out to the county station. So
we're going to miss that too. When you have to leave, we're going to miss that.
Well, I'm trying to train Mandy for it.
He was even concerned about the drain in the driveway out there. He was upset that it was going to be too high to drain the front end of the church, and finally it worked, Paul. So
it did work.
You persevered.
Yes. Yeah. But you know what? It's an honor. You don't think as a construction worker that you'll have knowledge that people will need later. So it causes us old people too that have retired not to expire, because I get to go out there. Jeff Sheffer and I were out in back laying a pipe. We're down in the ditch just shoveling away to lay pipe for the social hall. I'll never forget, Jeff and I were out there. Mm-hmm. He said, I get to work with the poop guy.
And look at the social hall right there.
Beautiful
doing ministry like
what a blessing.
Almost 7 days a week doing ministry that place.
Yeah. All right day there. Long.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
beautiful
the challenges as it was, because we like cut the ribbon right before COVID.
I know.
And then we said, what is going to happen with this? Oh, it's there. Doing ministry. There's God. Not a single day of the week that building is not used for great ministry happening there. So it's just like, just do it for God, and He takes care of the rest.
It was going to be 2 stories. You know that?
It was going to be?
That's the way we started out.
Yeah, 2 stories. Yeah.
Well,
I'm glad we didn't. I think we
made
did
some
it
adjustments.
Exactly right. It was going to extend way out in the front.
Uh-huh.
much further than it is now.
So I got another question for you guys. If someone felt like they were not qualified to be a mentor, where should they start?
Well, the obvious answer is to partner with someone they think is a mentor. And the other part of that answer is to pray about that opportunity, to be a mentor. When I came to the church, there were several mentors here, including Paul Dennis, if you remember.
Yes. Yep.
He blackmailed me into going to the Leesburg men's retreat.
Blackmailed you.
Yeah. I'll never forget what he did for me in encouraging my Christian life. And I didn't know the Lord at all. And he knew I didn't. But I think it's to associate with people like Paul and just hear some positive stories. Just teaching the senior highs, I still see young people that were in that class.
Wow.
That I know the class was getting what they needed to get. Number one, the Methodist literature was terrible at that time. And so I bought David C. Cook literature.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time when Ron came in to me, a young man, he said, "Mr. Wilson, why are you always talking about Jesus?" I said, "Ron, I'm glad you're hearing, because that's the most important thing. That's what we're going to talk about every week."
Amen.
And we did. Every week, 10 years.
Years ago, you may recall this, Scott, but I know Skip will. We had a Stephen ministry here. And what we did, I went through the class, and I went into it with this vision of me helping these people, okay? And I had Charlie Wysong. I don't know whether you guys remember that name, but he's a blessing in my life. But here's the point is this. I went into it thinking, I'm going to help this guy, okay? Mm-hmm. What I found out at the end of that was I didn't help him. He opened my eyes to World War II and what he did in the war and what those people went through. It gave me a better appreciation of our elderly people who've been in the service. And he was my, I would go in and we'd have a review every week of what you did. And when I told him, I said, "Look, I don't know that I'm blessing him. I'm going for the blessings I'm getting from him." And that's important.
It's a two-way street.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But to answer your question, I think what we're doing really is a great step in the right direction. The work that you all have done with the men in the last year is fantastic. We dreamed about doing something this before COVID. We didn't ever get it done. But I think it's amazing what you're doing. And it's going to pay dividends in mentorship and in involving them in leadership. And I think we're on the right path.
We are.
And I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you. Now,
thanks.
If there's one, it cannot be two. It's going to be one. Bible verse that is at the forefront of everything that you do in your life verse. What would that? I know there are more than one. I don't want two.
John 15:7.
All right. The one. Which one is John 15:7?
If you abide in me and my word abides in you, you will ask what you will and it will be given to you.
Wow. Boom.
I've got one that goes back to my construction days. I've got a long story, but I'll leave the story out. I'll just tell you it's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight.
Do we have to say anything else?
Yeah, we're done.
Can we drop?
Is there a mic? Somebody drop a mic.
Can we drop a mic here?
No. Unbelievable. What a wonderful session this was.
Wow.
Truly powerful. I know we're going to touch a lot of men with this session. Anything else that you guys want to share before we close out?
One thing I wish that my company had been a Christian company. It's a great company, but I would have loved to have had the chance to do what Paul did. But just being there and setting an example and going to the safety meetings where 550 of the operations people were in 11 different locations. They knew I was available to pray for them. They knew that I would write down their prayer requests. They knew that I was available to pray if they didn't have someone. Mm-hmm. Anytime we sent crews out of town, I was there to pray for them. And I still today have people at Cracker Barrel, and that's where a lot of the linemen like to eat, a lot of the union folks, and they still come up to me and say, I'll never forget what you did. You prayed for me. I saw you write it down on your paper, and you got to do what you say you're going to do. And
set the example. Set the
example.
I want to honor God with the rest of my life. So however he wants to use me, but I got one quick story for you in a restaurant. It was in a restaurant. There was a young lady who was a waitress, and I came in with a friend that we had an accountability type group. And I said to her, we're going to pray in a minute. Is there anything we can pray about for you? And she started crying. And she said, yes, my year-old son is home. He's sick. And I had to leave him with my mother, who I really need to be with my son, but I can't be there. Can you pray for me? So we prayed with her. So every time we went back into that establishment, she would want our table because she would want to tell us how her son is growing. Wow. So those kind of things are blessings that you don't expect. Mm-hmm. Some people say no when you say, I'm going to pray. But you know what? Some people say yes, and boy, do they make an impact. So
I think I can speak for Paul, but this is all about God. This is not about Paul or me. This is
it's not
God
us.
Enabling us and giving us the perceptions to do exactly what he wants done. And so,
and like
be the glory.
Like I said, there's that gap that I had from coming out of 2019, and retiring, and then what am I going to do?
Right.
So we started a Bible study. We started a connect group at home, and they're both thriving. But that's not enough. There's still more. And when I look at the young kids in here, and I look at some of the youth now, what a blessing they are. How so much farther ahead they are. But they need to hear life experiences.
I agree, 100%.
So if there's anybody here, I'm easy. I can be persuaded.
Amen. Well, we're amazing. Thank you so much, Skip and Paul, for taking the time to join us.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate you guys joining us for our third session of Got Your Back. We look forward to seeing you at our Bible study at 6:30 in Social Hall A in New Hope. And we look forward to seeing you next week for week 4. We got your back.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Valor Cast, where fight meets faith and fruit. If this conversation challenged or encouraged you, share it with a brother. You may subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And to find more resources for men of faith, visit findnewhope.com/men.